I'm Jason UFC, and today we have a story about UFC heavyweight John Jones dismisses Ciryl Gane's striking threat. Quote, I've faced better. Wow, former two-time UFC light heavyweight champion John Jones isn't concerned about the threat upcoming opponent Ciryl Gane poses on the feet. How about that? After 3 years away from the octagon, one of the leading names in the debate surrounding the greatest of all time has his comeback setback. John Jones hasn't competed. Okay, this is a waste of time. We don't have to talk about any of that. And following a lengthy transition, Bones Jones will have the chance at UFC 285 main event next month when he meets former interim heavyweight champion Ciryl Gane for the vacant heavyweight title. Look at this poster. How dope is that? The world will be watching. Your official UFC 285 poster has landed March 4th, 2023. Jones Gane heavyweight championship of the world. Prior to let me see. Okay, let's try to get into what John Jones is talking about. But since the bout was confirmed, blah blah blah. The sentiment derived from Gane's reputation as the leader of the quote new breed of heavyweights. He's the leader who pair agility and speed with the power of that heavyweight division is known for. But according to Jones, Gane won't be presenting anything new to him on March 4th. Wow. John Jones feels comfortable about Gane's stand-up. On Wednesday, John Jones took part in an impromptu Q&A session on Twitter, during which he was asked whether he sees Gane as the most talented striker he'll have ever faced throughout his professional career. After dismissing that suggestion and naming two former opponents at 205 pounds who presented tougher puzzles to solve on defeat, Bones reminded fans that he won't be engaging in a kickboxing match with the former Muay Thai pro at UFC 285. No, I don't think that Gane is the best striker I've ever faced. Thiago Santos, Lyoto Machida, the list goes on. I fought many guys who were nasty on their feet. Quinton Rampage, guys who were very intimidating, one strike knockout power. I think he's talking about Quinton Rampage, right? It seems like that's what he's talking about. I feel pretty comfortable, and this is definitely not a kickboxing match. Okay. Prior to his blah blah blah. Okay, let's just get into it. Okay, now I would kind of agree with John Jones, right? Now, Gane, I feel like he's just a tiny bit, while he's not the most technical striker I think John Jones is going to ever face. And I don't think he has even the most power. I feel like that would have to be Rampage. I believe John Jones admitted, not that he was scared, but it was like a wake-up call. It was just like, whoa, I'm facing Rampage. Like, the threat is really real. You know, Rampage was a problem for heavyweights, for light heavyweights, for a lot of people. So I feel like Rampage definitely had more knockout power ability than Gane. I do agree that the Machida fight was definitely one of the first fights where we saw John Jones get tagged in the first round. I believe a lot of people had Lyoto Machida winning that first round. So that karate style was definitely not easy to figure out. I think when John Jones fought Gustafsson the first fight, and I believe Gustafsson took him down. Now, the one thing I do worry just a tiny bit, obviously, is the heavyweight power. I just think the reach. You know, John Jones facing people like Dominic Reyes, they showed a little bit of problems there. Reyes, I don't know if it was his speed, right? But Reyes, some people believe Reyes won that fight. I feel like it's the length. John Jones doesn't really seem to have problems with people who can't get inside of his range. Glover Teixeira. I mean, Vitor almost broke his arm in the first round. So, but Vitor was a completely different monster. But when John Jones faced like Chael Sonnen, he had a range. It wasn't even close. When John Jones faced Glover Teixeira, range, it wasn't really close. Um, so I think the range, I don't know. I'm assuming Gane has a longer reach than John Jones. I'm assuming that, and I don't know how many opponents John Jones have faced with a longer reach. I think that's going to be one of the biggest problems for John Jones, and obviously the power. I don't think Gane is the type that, one punch he's going to put Jones out. I don't really see that happening. But I think the range and his tricky style will probably cause a little bit more problems for John Jones. And also the fact that we haven't seen John Jones in the UFC ring in 3 years, right? He's moving up to a completely different division. We've never seen the heavyweight John Jones. So we'll see. I personally, I'm team John Jones, so I'm gonna root for John Jones. But this is a really good fight, Jones versus Gane. I think it's going to be a really good fight. I don't know if John Jones is going to take Gane down. John Jones doesn't really play that lay and pray type of game. And if you're a good striker, he's going to strike with you. John Jones is not really the type that's like, well, okay, I'm facing this really dangerous striker, so what I'm going to do is neutralize it. I'm going to play the clinch game. He usually is like, well, if you're a good striker, I'm going to strike you, Like if you're a good wrestler, like Chael Sonnen, I'm gonna wrestle you to the ground and show you I'm a better wrestler. If you're a good wrestler like Daniel Cormier, I'm gonna wrestle you to the ground and show you that I'm a better, So I would not be surprised if this fight doesn't even go to the ground, right? I feel like he took Gustafsson down because Gustafsson took him down, right? I think John Jones was fine just striking with Gustafsson. So if Gane, which really does not pose a threat to taking John Jones down, I would be a little bit shocked if John Jones took Gane down. I wouldn't be surprised if he does a lot of wrestling, a lot of grappling, in the clinch, elbows in the clinch, maybe knees in the clinch, that arm crank he does, that shoulder strike John Jones does. But to me, it's just going to be a great fight. We're March 16th. February 16th. March 4th is like, what, 2 weeks away? So, man, this is going to be fun. I would like to see what Ciryl Gane replies to this. I kind of love this back and forth stuff. I'm pretty sure everybody's hitting up Ciryl Gane saying, I'm pretty sure there was a lot more questions than just this question about, is he what was the question? Where's the tweet at? Did I pass this tweet? Hold on. Okay, what was the? You think Gane is the best striker you've ever faced? That was the question. Pretty sure he said some other things. Probably even put Gane over, right? Like I'm pretty sure he had to put Gane over. The guy's a threat. But we'll see what Gane replies, or does he not reply? Right? Maybe he just waits and he replies on March 4th. Let me know your opinion of this story. Do you think Ciryl Gane is the best striker John Jones has ever faced? I don't think he is. But either way, does that even matter? Like, John Jones says we're not in a Muay Thai fight. This person's asking about the greatest striker. It's a fight. Whether it's a strike, whether it's an elp, a tap out, it's a fight. It's going to be a fight. So whether he's the best striker John Jones has ever fought, whether he's never fought anyone on John Jones' level, none of that matters when the cage doors close, and we'll see who's the better fighter, on March 4th. And that's the question. Who's going to win the fight? It's not who's the best striker, who has the most power, who has the most speed, who has the most knockouts, who's the better wrestler. Like, none of that matters. Like, literally, none of it matters. The question is when you close the door, who walks out the winner and who walks out the loser. And I believe John Jones is going to win. But let me know your opinion of this fight. Who do you think is going to win the fight? right? It doesn't matter who's the better striker. Who's gonna win the fight, Jon Jones or Ciryl Gane? I'm Jason UFC. Today we had a story about Jon Jones dismisses Ciryl Gane striking threat. I've faced better. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the $1 donation button, and please tune in to the next video on this channel. Thanks a million for watching.